The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. It is Thursday, October the 10th. I'm Nick Eatman. It's time to talk some more Cowboy football. Cowboys and Lions this week, Sunday, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, AT&T Stadium. Lions coming off a bye. They're going to be pissed. They want to beat the Cowboys because they did not last time because they weren't better than the Cowboys, but they sure thought that they had that win, but they did not. It's okay, though. They're ready to go. They're having a great season. No hangover for them. And we'll see what they do against the Cowboys. Kind of still a banged-up team. Obviously, Micah Parsons is, I think, the best player on this team and best player on this defense for sure, and he will not be playing this week. They haven't ruled him out yet, but I think we can rule him out. He's not. He hasn't been practicing, but looking like there's a good chance for him to be back after the bye. When you're on those conditioning cords, that's a sign that you're getting close. There's no game next week, of course, so I would think by the 49er game he should be good to go, but not this week against the Lions. Too bad, though, because the Lion against the Lions certainly need everything that you have for that one. All right, October the 10th, 10-10, so happy Cooper Rush Day for the Cowboys. Hopefully he doesn't play. All right, Anthony in Miami is our first caller. Let's get right to it.
Nick the Quick, what they do, my guy? What's up, baby?
What's up, man?
Let's go.
Right.
Hey, I told Beam it's Deuces Wild, baby. Second call, checking on my sister in Tampa, of course, with the hurricane. That's all good up there. Second call ever on StoryLine. Second time I ever got first call on StoryLine.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's it's Deuces Wild today, baby. It's Deuces Wild.
All right.
But anyway, you want to know how I'm doing? I added a line.
I know.
I added a line. You ready?
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
This is how I'm doing. It's Thursday now. I'm on StoryLine with Nick and Chris, and I'm doing just fine. So I reached for my cell phone, and I made the call, talking about the Cowboys and how they beat them all. Now, I got a little special chorus part, but I ain't finished with it, right? And it goes, I love the Dallas Cowboys, y'all. This is how I'm doing. One pass or a kick, just score the ball. This is how I'm doing. So that's how I'm doing, baby. You ready? Are you ready?
Wow. Love it. I love it. If I was in a bad mood, I wouldn't have been anymore. I'm not. I'm doing great, but man, that's awesome. You can't get any better than that. Guys, that's the bar. Okay. Hey, just like Montel said, this is how we do it, okay? This is the standard. This is how we do it. So that's the bar. Everybody else, I mean, I want to hear some bars today, honestly. Actually, Anthony.
I know. What's up?
I'm starting off a new thing today because we're sponsored. One of our sponsors is Yeti. So Yeti keeps it hot. It keeps it cold. What I want to know from you, who's hot, who's cold for the Cowboys? That's the theme to all callers today. Who's hot, who's cold? Give me something really quick on that. You don't have to do it right this second. I put you on the spot. But that's what I'm asking for the callers to do. Who's hot, who's cold?
Oh.
Sponsored by Yeti. All right.
Okay, the Cowboys are going to be hot.
Cowboys are hot?
I gave you a little tape back. The Cowboys are hot. I'm going to tell you who's cold. It's going to be the Lions. Because you know what a Lion don't want to do? A Lion don't want to mess with an elephant sometimes. Those big elephants, those bull elephants, Lions ain't messing with them. They tough, but they ain't messing with them. So the Cowboys come out like elephants, like they did against Pitt. Backup players. Everybody stepped up. That, although he threw a couple of interceptions or whatnot, he stepped up and down the field. Do that on the Lions, baby. Everybody do their part, step up, and you'll beat them 33-30.
Love
That's all
it.
I got, baby.
All right. Well, so according to Anthony, the Cowboys are the elephant in the room. Love it. All right. Good stuff, guys. Great stuff. Okay. We're singing like three like lines of my favorite song of all time. That's great. All right. Let's go to Brian in Kansas City. Brian, what are you singing for us today?
Oh, man, Anthony's hard to follow, man. Anthony's hard to follow.
Yeah, it is. It is. Anything. Hey, everybody's got their thing. You've got your thing, and it's always throwing in some old players and stuff like that, which I love. Is great, too. So everyone's got their thing. You just kind of, just like a team, just like the Cowboys. You play within yourself. You play within your role, and then together, we're a team here at the StoryLine. All right. Love it. What do you got? Man,
you're saying I'm just driving the bus.
I did not say that. I did not say that at all. And if you know, I think bus drivers are absolutely perfect. I love bus driving quarterbacks. Okay, if you can drive the bus, you're the best because you can drive it a different way. I've said Tom Brady's the greatest bus driving quarterback of all time. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. That is not a slander at all. But that's not what I'm saying to you. I'm saying you have a role. You have your thing. So, anyways, what is it? What do you got?
Hey, well, this week, we're going up against the Fighting Dan Campbells, and the one thing they're going to bring is they're going to bring energy, toughness. That's just kind of who they are. And don't tell anybody, but I was listening to Talking Cowboys just before your show.
That's okay. That's okay.
But Isaiah was saying, they're not real disciplined on defense. Yeah, they're tough. Yeah, they're going to want to hit you in the mouth, but they're not super disciplined. So I'm hoping our running game keeps going. Maybe we found our path, and I don't know who the starting five are, but, whatever offensive line we put out there, hopefully the running game is going to sustain a little bit. And that means against an undisciplined secondary, we should tear them up.
Yeah.
Now, can we stop their run? Because that's the strength of their, they've got that dual-headed monster that, those guys were kind of comparing it to what Zeke and Pollard looked like when they were both kind of, at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we need to find out with this defensive line, we know we're going to be short on bodies. Can we show up like we have in the last couple weeks and really stop a run? This is a running team that's better than the last two we faced.
Yeah, of course.
Can we stop them?
Yeah.
So you give me your opinions. I'd love to know anything about updates on who's playing and who's not playing. And my player for the week is anything you want to talk about Herschel Walker, where you were when you heard about the trade as a kid or anything you've known about him since then.
Herschel.
All right, brother.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, man. Wow. Herschel Walker. I mean, I thought I was cheating on my best friend there because Tony Dorsett was my favorite player of all time. Tony Dorsett had the poster on the wall. Loved Tony D. He was the greatest. Then they signed Herschel. Bigger, stronger, faster, younger, quicker, better. I liked Herschel too. So I had both posters actually on my wall. I loved Herschel Walker. I went to his very first game at home it was a preseason game against the Oilers, and we had a jersey printed out. It was printed out. I really think I had the first Herschel Walker jersey of all time. It was like printed, Walker on the back, and I'll never forget. He played a little bit, and he had like a 12, 15-yard run. I thought the place was going to go. I thought the roof was going to come down. Everybody was so excited about Herschel Walker. That's my memory of him as a kid. I did not cover him as work with the team either of his two stints, but I think he's one of the greatest players in Cowboys history. I think he's one of the most impactful players, obviously, in Cowboys history, just because of what he did and then what he was able to bring to the team in that trade. So don't have a lot of I've met him one time at the Super Bowl long after he was done playing. It was at Radio Row. I got to meet him. Really nice guy. But, as far as a player, I mean, he was iconic to me as a young kid. I just loved the big, strong, fast guy like that. He was awesome. And then just talking about the Lions and their running backs, the thing about them, it's not a lightning and thunder type thing because, they are like two guys that are both lightning and thunder. I mean, I've seen Montgomery go 75, 80 yards to the house. I've seen Gibbs run it right up the middle, and as a power back. So they're both fast. They're both strong. I think they're really, really good players. And then their quarterback, Jared Goff, he still hasn't thrown incompletion in 2 weeks or so because he went perfect in the game. And so he's the best quarterback that they faced. I mean, let's be honest. They've beaten Deshaun Watson. He did not play well in that game. They've beaten Daniel Jones. I don't know when he's ever played well. Seriously. And then Justin Fields, I mean, he's not the best. I don't think he's the best quarterback on their team. So, he's a runner, but I don't think he's he doesn't hurt him that bad. This is the best quarterback that they face with the best running back, with, a team that's ready to come in here and ready to go. So it'll be a fun game for sure. All right, let's go to the next caller, Esteban in Austin. Esteban, what's up?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thoughts and prayers with everybody out in the East Coast with dealing with all the hurricanes, our friends in Florida.
Sure.
So, but to go to your question earlier about who's hot, who's cold, I like Rico. I think he's got the hot hand right now, and Zeke might be a little bit on the cold side.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Fair for both. Because that's what you do. You're going with the hot hand. That's the thing about Yetis. He keeps it hot, he keeps it cold. But that all can change quickly, though, with the running back position, and we hope it does. Because Zeke, there's still a role. There's always a role for the second back. And so, he's got to keep himself ready to go. And I think he will. And I think he's a pro's pro now. Zeke's always been that guy where he is a really – I mean, you say what you want about him on the field, off the field, whatever. He's a professional. He's going to get himself ready to go. And there will be a moment this year, could be this week, where Zeke will help them win some games. I promise you that.
Yeah, I don't question McCarthy's choice to use Rico in that goal line stance. I think he would have punched it in, but he's young and he made a mistake. I think he'll learn from that and bounce back quickly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen so many drops by the back half of the defense as I have in the last couple of weeks. I think they really need to catch up with or work on that. Overshone and Malik Hooker both dropped a couple of key interceptions that would have really turned that game around.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them work on that. I do like Dak's play, especially the last two drives. It seemed like he was really in the zone.
Yeah.
But I didn't like him going away from CD in the second half. But I do like the alternative of them using Turpin and Lipke, getting them involved. A lot of good things happen when those two guys are involved.
Yeah.
But just a question going into this game, I do like the Cowboys' chances against Detroit, but one of my biggest concerns is the red zone. It's been a problem all year for the offense. And is it as simple as cleaning up the penalties and the turnovers, or are they doing something philosophically that's wrong? So I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Okay. Appreciate the call, Esteban. A lot of good stuff there. I'll answer that part there about the running game. Are they doing so? I mean, they are not a great running team. Okay, we haven't seen them run the ball well on a consistent basis. And when it's down in the red zone, what are you going to do? You're not going deep. Okay, we know that. They know that. There's nowhere to go. So everything gets shortened, tightened up, and now it's hat on a hat. Now it's who can move you off the ball, and that's just not their strength. So when you know that, you really can't run the ball in. Now you've got to figure out to be creative and pass the ball. And it's just it's a challenge. It's an absolute challenge, especially when they are somewhat one-dimensional overall, and especially when you get down into the red zone. So it's an easy answer, but it's the right answer to me. It stems from just not being able to run it, and that is the first domino, and then it's a real problem from there. They don't have those road graders that just move you off the ball. And they're not there yet. Cooper Beebe, I think he will be. Tyler Guyton still, needs to be stronger. I don't know if Zach Martin pushes the pile like he used to. And Terrence Steele, I think that's his best thing he does is stopping is blocking for the run. But they just haven't clicked. They haven't gotten that down yet. And that last game, not only were they not scoring touchdowns, they weren't even getting the field goals. The two turnovers in there. The Dak, he trying to make a play, and he can't. And a lot of the times when I see these plays, I do that article 5. Don't forget these 5 plays. And a lot of times it's the play that happens before the big play, good or bad. It's a play that happens before. And just so many times I see where it's first down, everything's going well. They're first and goal from the 7, and then there's a 1-yard loss or no gain. And now it's second and goal from the 7. Now you're probably going to throw, and that's incomplete. Now it's third and goal, and then you get sacked, fumble, whatever. But it's the lack of running. On first down, if you can get 3 yards, first and goal from the 7, you get 3, second goal from the 4, that changes everything. Now you can run it again. Now you might be in 4-down territory. So running the ball, especially on first down, is so critical, and I think that's what's hurting them a lot in the red zone. All right, Dylan in Northport, Florida is next. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Hey, who you got? Who's hot, who's cold for this team?
Who's hot, who's cold? Let's see. Jake Ferguson's going to be hot, and D-line's going to be cold because of the injuries.
Injuries, playing the Lions. It's going to be tough. All right. I like it. All right, Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and report eligible this week here. And, I have a 10-win roadmap. I don't have the games in front of me. But, I mean, the Cowboys, in my opinion, the way I had it kind of schemed out here, written out, was I needed them to win one of 3 games versus Pittsburgh, Detroit, and the Niners. And they got the win against Pittsburgh. So what I'm looking for, I'm just looking for confidence at this point. And don't get me wrong, like, I want them to win great. That's the best thing that can happen, obviously. But if they can show that they can compete and that they belong with the big dogs, even with all the injuries they have, my confidence will increase. And I think one of the keys to the game is I don't think either team defensively will be getting a ton of stops. So the question for me will be, can the Cowboys defense force any turnovers? Can they get the offense back on the field a couple more drives? Can the offense finish those drives with touchdowns? Because field goals won't get it done this week. If they're kicking field goals, they're going to lose. And I gave you my prediction earlier in the week. I want to revise that because I'm going to go with my heart instead of my head at this point because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. I think the Cowboys are going to win 34-24. That's my heart talking. And the kicker, the Cowboys are going to score with a touchdown pass to a lineman in the ultimate troll move.
That would be ultimate move right there, as long as he's reported. And, Awesome Richards is the guy that has been coming in, reporting is eligible. Thanks for the call, Dylan. I love good like snarky lines, especially when you kind of just slip it in there like that. That was outstanding. He's reporting eligible, and if you know, and if you don't, wake up, I guess. We're going to be seeing that play a lot, hearing about it a lot. Obviously, the Lions still kind of salty about it. Thought that they had a chance to win. Maybe the Cowboys should be salty about it because if the Packers were going to go play them, let them go play. I don't know. I forgot who the Lions played. Maybe they played the Bucks. I'll take my chances on that one. As opposed to playing, Jordan Love and the Packers and Aaron Jones on such a hot hand like that. I'm just saying, it's funny how it all works out. Cowboys got the 2 seed, Detroit got the 3. Of course, they did play the next week. The Cowboys did not. So, who got the last laugh there? But we'll talk about it here again, I'm sure, several times this week. Good stuff, though, from Dylan, throwing that in there and taking a little jab at Dan Campbell. And, they tried to be cute. We know it. They did. They tried to be sneaky. They tried to throw all these guys over here, make it look like these guys are reporting eligible, and they confused the ref. They confused him, made a mistake. Hey, is what it is. They could have kicked the extra point at some point and gone to overtime, but they didn't. And Brandon Aubrey, like we know now, I mean, they still had 22 seconds and a timeout. So yeah, maybe they take the lead. Cowboys could get it to midfield or beyond. Nobody was stopping CD that day. Not nobody on the Lions. He had 225 yards. So they could have got the ball to midfield and passed that with the timeout, and then Aubrey hits a 60-yard field goal and they lose anyways. That's the way I look at it. Just like that's the way I look at Aaron Rodgers in the Dez caught it game. Yeah, Dez definitely caught the ball. They had Aaron Rodgers. I still think they probably would have come down and won the game. So that's the way I feel about that. All right, let's go to Gavin in Oklahoma City.
Hey, Nick. I got a few things for you. The first one being, do you think there's anything to CeeDee Lamb disappearing in the second half of these games? I'm personally not super concerned about it. I think it's a mixture of us not making an effort to get them the ball and teams making adjustments at halftime. What do you think about that?
I'm not worried about it just yet. He's getting the ball in the first half, and all these games are kind of take on a life of its own. I don't think they're trying to go away from him. I think teams are adjusting. Not super concerned about it just yet. Because like I said, all of those games are different. The one game that is a little bit alarming would just been the Ravens game, because they did throw the ball around. They did come back in the game, and it wasn't really him. He wasn't the one doing it. So that's really the only thing. But they weren't trying to go away from him. I just think it's been circumstantial right now. I'm not too worried about that just yet.
Agree with you. And my second being, how do you feel about Rico being in goal line situations? I know a lot of fans was kind of asking why Zeke wasn't in there that last possession on the goal line when Rico lost the ball.
Yeah.
I really think we may have better options when it comes to 1 yard to go.
Yeah, and we might see that again, because one thing we've seen out of McCarthy, fumble at the 1 and see what happens. Because Hunter Lipke never got the ball again last year. The Miami fumble early in the game. I don't think he got another carry the rest of the season. So, and he wasn't happy about that with Hunter Lipke, and he wasn't happy about this play with Rico either. So we'll see. I mean, Rico's got a role. He's the number one back right now, but down by the goal line. And I'm going to do a stat as well. I need to look up this with Zeke we played 5 games. 3rd and goal 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. I don't remember Zeke being stopped.
I don't either.
When he needs
really
a yard.
like to see him
and
get the ball there.
Yeah. Now it's tough down there in the goal line, and the guy made an unbelievable play. But I don't think Rico ran the right play. I don't think he went to the right gap there, and I think that was kind of the problem.
Interesting. I didn't really catch that one. I might have to go back and look at that.
Go back and look at it. They were talking about it in the press conference, or after the press conference. McCarthy was talking about it. I mean, it really wasn't the right. He didn't go the right way there. Could have been a walk-in touchdown in their mind. But whatever.
I've seen that several times with Rico this year about just missing the holes. I think when he gets there, he's great, but sometimes I feel like a lot of people have hit this already, but the patience might just not be there yet.
Right.
My final thing I wanted to throw at you, I saved the worst for last because I don't know if you'll have an answer for this, but why do you think it is that year after year, it seems we have to go to San Francisco? Why doesn't San Francisco ever have to come to Dallas? Same with Detroit, really, though. You could argue that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we have to go to Detroit? I don't see that as being fair. And if you don't have an answer for that,
I have the answer. It's just the way it's worked out. There's nothing to it more than that. It's just thanks for the call, Gavin, and we're gonna have to take a break. But and he's been calling a lot here lately. Gavin, you're making a run for this all storyline team. I love it. The way the schedule works out, I mean, it's just the way that it falls. You play every year, okay? The NFC to NFC East, you play your own teams, okay? In the division, that's 6 games. Now you play one division in the NFC. You play the entire division, and this year it is the South for the Cowboys, and that's been determined. Like I can tell you. That was already determined 10 years ago. They're playing at Atlanta, at Carolina, and the home teams are Tampa Bay and New Orleans. That's already set. So that happens every year, and then then the other 2 games on the division, when you play the North and the West, it comes down to first place schedule. So in 10 years, I don't know exactly what it is, but you can find out that the Cowboys will play the NFC West correlating team, whether it be number 1, number 2, whatever. So it just so happens that they're playing at the West, and last year it was the 49ers. It was because they played the entire division, I believe, and so next year, if the Cowboys win this division and the 49ers somehow come back and win theirs, I would think the 49ers would play at the Cowboys. So it's really not something. This is not something that the schedule makers do at all. It's already set up that way. It's just kind of the way it sort of works out. And I remember the Packers in years past used to always play at the Cowboys, just kind of the way it went. And that's just the way this is. It's just the last few years it's been that way with the 49ers. Cowboys going to the 49ers. All right, let's go take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back to answer more calls.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Head to AT&T Stadium on October the 12th for Rally Days presented by SeatGeek. There's going to be a lot of fun out there. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, ticket giveaways, autographs, tours of the stadium, games, and much more. Visit AT&TStadium.com/rallydays to get your tickets today. All right, let's keep this thing going. We got Josh in Chicago as our next caller. Josh, what's up, man?
Hey, Nick. How you been, man?
Good,
It's been
good.
a couple weeks.
Yeah, how you been?
Oh, man, busy at work. So, but glad to get in today.
Not too busy. You got a chance to call. Love it.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, for hot and cold, I got to go with hot Overshown. He's just been crushing it. And cold, I got to say, we got to see more from Damone Clark.
Yeah.
He just, I expect bigger things from him, and I hope he can get back to, getting more tackles for the team.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those two things are related. Kind of like.
Oh, definitely.
The last caller, or one of the last callers, Rico and Zeke, hot and cold, and this is Overshown and Damone Clark. Well, I mean, Overshown's hot, and therefore Damone Clark's not getting a lot of playing time. But
yep.
Yeah, all good. Well, thank you. Thanks for throwing that in. Again, we're doing our hot cold segments presented by Yeti. Keeps it hot, keeps it cold, keeps it fresh. Like it.
And then I had a question for you if you got.
You sure? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, John Stevens Jr., what's holding him out? I think that they could really use him in the receiving game, and I don't know what's holding him out, but I'll take it off the air. Thank you.
All right, thanks. I think the plan all along was for John Stevens to be the guy, to be that third tight end, maybe even the second tight end, provide a little bit a juice there at the position, down the field presence. Don't know where he ranks as far as blocking goes. Now, last year he looked like just a bulky receiver. That he was kind of undersized, he was tall, but at tight end, but needed to put on some weight. Then of course he got hurt and he was out all season. And then this year he came back to camp and he looked like a tight end. I mean, he looks like a big, strong tight end. He added some good weight. And he had a nice camp, and he was definitely making the team. Had some decent plays, if I remember, at training camp. And then he suffered a hamstring injury right before the season started. So that kind of slowed him down for sure. And then they went, and then Ferguson got hurt, and so they went with Brevin Spanford, a guy that they liked as well. I thought Stevens had a better training camp than Spanford, but he's continued to come on there. And, I mean, what did he have, like the first catch of the game? It seemed like a play out of the backfield to him. It was kind of an odd play, but, it was a nice play. And he had a couple of catches in the game. And he's big and strong and pretty good blocker. He's cut down his penalties, though, a little bit for the amount of snaps that he has. He's got too many penalties. But you see that a lot with rookies. And so Right now, I just think Spanford just gives them a better option, a little bit more complete tight end than Stevens. But at that position, with the injuries that Schoonmaker's been banged up some, knock on wood there for him, and Ferguson, of course, they're going to need Stevens. He's just inactive right now. I just don't think he's the best option of the four that they have. So, all right, let's go to Travis in San Antonio.
Nick, how's it going? Happy Thursday to you guys.
Thanks, man. How are you?
Doing good. Just want to. I heard Dylan was on, so I want to shout out Dylan, and I know Brian in Lakeland. I've been texting him. He's my friend, so he's safe. His family's good. And then I don't know if Anthony's close to it, but anybody else, just let you know, praying for everybody and glad everybody. It sounds like majority of people are safe. So
yeah,
good there. That makes a better football week.
Of course. Thank you so much, Travis, putting it in perspective. Thank you for doing that.
What do you got? And then to build on Dylan's point, I went sort of all connected, because I was in Florida for a family vacation a couple weeks ago, and my brother, I'm from Michigan, so my family, I'm the pariah. I'm the Cowboys fan. Everyone else grew up as Lions fans, so it's a little bit of a personal week for me. But when you were talking about the Dan Campbell thing, it's become that play that I can't see my brother-in-law, and we can't have an argument about it because I had to sort of educate him on I'm glad I like Campbell, but I was told him, we had that whole thing again where it was like, they have, I don't know if you know this, Nick, but if you watch a Lions game, ever since that play, every time Dan Skipper comes in at home, they cheer for him. So they've made it, it's become a thing, which I don't really get because it's like they're cheering for it, but it's sort of like a trick they play on themselves. And I had to tell him, I was like, you realize that play would have never happened either if they don't try to go for it, or they, instead of going for it on fourth down, they kick a field goal. Right. They could have done an extra point. So and he was like, I don't care, Dan Campbell, he's gotten here because of that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just letting you know.
But he's also lost doing it because he did it in the NFC Championship game too. He refused to kick field goals, and it cost them because go ahead.
And apparently they don't care. So I was like, okay, well, you got to deal with that too. I just think it's funny because I watched Lions games and never since then have I ever seen anybody like three linemen reporting with one guy. So, I mean, like you said, they tried to get Flick. You'll never convince me otherwise. And they tried to get Flick and confuse everybody. Like you said, they confused the ref and themselves. So that's here nor there, but I just want to point that out there because I think it's funny that we always, every time I see him now, we always have to have that hash it out. So as far as the game goes, I think they've built some equity with these last couple wins. I think if you really, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree, if you really want to turn the season around or get it going in the right direction, this would be some serious win equity. No matter how you win this game, if you can win this one, it would be huge. And I'll see what you think about this. I think Randy was talking about this earlier this week. I heard his call, and the way I would describe it is the same issue. I think the key to this is going to be, I think the run defense will be all right. I think it's going to be, again, how can they, because Micah was a terror for Jared Goff being, he's more of a statue kind of quarterback. If they can manufacture pressure and get pressure, then I think they have a really good chance. And Randy was talking about the D-line played better or maybe a little more sound. And I'm thinking about it, too. I'm wondering if it's just because, you have the Golstons and Tyrese Wheats and the guys that don't really have as much flexibility or freedom that Tank and Micah do as far as, like if Zimmer says this is what you're doing on first and second down, that's pretty much what they're going to do, right? Like they don't really have the freedom to be like, oh, I'm just going to go and do whatever I want. Not to say that either one of those players are bad, but I think maybe that's kind of what Randy was saying, and just wanted to see what you thought about that. So they have less freedom, so they're sort of playing more the way Zimmer wants, I guess, which sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean? Like they're playing more gap sound, just doing their jobs, and then just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So I just want to see what you think, and you guys have a great week.
All right, Travis, thanks. Real quick on that, yes, that's good. To be sound, do what you're supposed to do, but that's just solid. That's going to be a solid defense, and that'll get beat by really great quarterbacks, great schemes, and things like that. Solid will never beat great, and that's part of it. But that's the best you can hope for. Sometimes when you're dealing with all these injuries like that, you can't be undisciplined. You have to be. Stay in your lane, stay in your gap, all that stuff. Personally, I'll take the guy that's a freak. I'll take the freak that's out there that can kind of do his thing. I'll never forget that story Bill Parcells told about Lawrence Taylor. That Lawrence Taylor, like early in the game against the Cardinals, early in his career, just went the wrong way. But the quarterback was there. He made the sack, forced the fumble, and they said that great play, but that's not the right play. You got to stay here or whatever. And cool. Then fourth quarter, same thing happened. The Cardinals are trying to win the game. He does the same thing, goes, sacks the quarterback, fumbles it, they recover, they win the game. And off the sideline, Belichick or Parcells was like, LT, like you're not, that's not the play. You're running the wrong play. And he said, well, maybe you should change the play. And Parcells looked at Belichick and said, yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should. That's what freaks do. And so there's two sides to it. I get the part about being sound, but also you want the guys. Now, if you can get the freak player to play that kind of way and play sound at times as well, I think you'll be cooking with gas on that one. All right, Chris in San Angelo.
Yes, Mr. Nick. Hope your day is going well.
Going good, man. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. Hot player. I'll go with go a little off. I'm going to say Jordan Lewis.
Yeah.
And just I like his attitude. Cold player. This is just from a motivational standpoint. Donovan Wilson, and I just mean that in. I know he's got more in him, so it's time to see it.
Okay.
All right. And my take on the game, it seems like the last three home games the Cowboys have played, the other team has kind of come in and hit them and slapped them around, and Cowboys hadn't really had an answer. So it's been kind of like if you've seen the movie Tombstone, when Kurt Russell slaps and hits that guy, and he says, are you going to do anything about it, or are you just going to sit there and bleed? And so I say this time the Cowboys hit back and come back, and they win 33-24.
All right. Well, it'd be nice if they're the one hitting first. I think that's what needs to happen in this game for sure. The Cowboys have had some slow starts, and there's been games. They've had a lot of slow starts this year. Some of the games they haven't been down because their defense has played better early on, but the offense I think has had a slow start in just about every game. So they gotta be the ones to fix that and start fast in this game. All right, let's take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back to wrap up the show.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Alltech Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alltechlansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Alltech Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Monster Jam returns to Arlington. Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, October 26th. Watch 4 Marvel Monster Jam trucks make their Arlington debut. Tickets on sale at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. Monster Jam. All right, we're jamming here for the last 10 minutes. We got we got Carolina is online. Carolina in South Carolina. What's up, man? Hello, Carolina. Are you there? All right. Let's move it. Moving on. All right, let's go. We got Bob in Rio Grande Valley.
Morning, Nick.
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. What's up with you?
Great program today.
Thank you.
Just a little observation I've got about the game this weekend against the Lions.
Okay.
I think the key to victory for the Cowboys is for our defense just to play solid enough to hold them to 20 points. And then for our offense to really have to utilize the passing game. We're going to have to get Lipke involved. We're going to have to get Turpin involved. We're going to have to get Tolbert involved, in addition to C.D. Lamb. I do think that a couple of field goals are going to help out. But if we can hold those guys to 20 points, and we squeak out of there with a 1 or 2 or 3 point victory, I'm going to be delighted. But one other thing, the deal with Dalvin Cook. What was this guy doing? Just getting a cheap payday? It seems like
it is a cheap payday because he's on the practice squad, so that's pretty cheap for NFL players. It is a cheap payday. Yeah.
But why hasn't this guy even been brought in for one game for a look-see to see what he can do to maybe help pick up our running game? Why is Mike so reluctant to bring this guy on for one game? That's my question for you. Thank you for taking my call.
Right.
You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you. All right, I don't know. I can't. No one's giving us the answer. No one has the answer, and so it's obviously the truth is probably something that they don't want to say, whether he's not ready or they just watch him and they're like he's not good enough. I mean, sometimes that happens. There's running backs that oh yeah, he was on my fantasy team. He was great. He'd made the I remember him in the Pro Bowl. I remember him beating the Cowboys a few years ago. Apparently, that's not the guy anymore. Just like Zeke's not the guy that he was, I guess Dalvin Cook is not either. And you look at the stats, Zeke's numbers were a little bit better the last few years leading up to this. I don't have the answer for you. I wish I did. I wish we could see it. Put him out there and see. For whatever the reason, they don't feel like he's ready to go. Bob, you said something about the Cowboys scoring 20, or I guess holding the Lions to 20. That's actually interesting. The Cowboys have scored 20 points in 4 of their last 8 regular season games. Exactly 20 points in the last 2 games. And they've gotten a win both times. 2015 against the Giants, 20-17 against the Steelers. So 20 has kind of been the mark there. And then also against the Lions, they've scored 13 straight games they've had 20 points or more. 13 straight games against the Lions. So if you can get over 20, maybe that's the recipe. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a little more high scoring than that, but we'll see. All right, let's go to Rick in Massachusetts.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. Hot person would be Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert would be Luke Schoonmaker.
All right, Schoonmaker.
And the score. I think it's gonna be like 24-21 with Aubrey with the last second field goal making a 65-yarder.
Oh, wow.
Set the record in the win.
Yeah, that would be dramatic for sure. All right.
And that's and just keep what they were doing last week with getting all these people involved like Turpin and Lipke and Tolbert and everything, and just include CD as well. So.
Yeah. That's the thing. Thanks for the call, Rick. That's the deal. The Cowboys, that's one thing McCarthy has talked about is, likes the fact that this offense, I think 10 different receivers caught some passes last week. That's great. That's great to be able to spread it around. Of course, everyone is wondering where's CD and why isn't he getting more? And so I don't know if that works for everybody. It's nice to have that option. You still need the dudes, though. You still need to have those guys, the ones you can count on. So I don't know if that's needed to have that many guys. I mean, usually when that happens, Spanford caught a pass. I think Schoonmaker, who Rick said it was his cold guy. I mean, he's not there to really catch passes. He's there to kind of be that second tight end and block. He did catch a pass though in the game, and they're throwing to the backs, throwing to Lipke, throwing to Rico. So spreading around that way. I think that's impressive. But I still think you'd rather that number be around 6 or 7, with 1 or 2 guys getting the bulk of it. Your top line guys, you want them to be the difference makers. But hey, however it works is fun. All right, David in Fort Worth. What's up?
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. I'm a little under the weather. Allergies are kind of kicking my butt, but I'm good.
All right.
But yeah, man. No, I was calling because I wanted to mention the kind of hot and cold. I think that Tober. I think Tober's going to be real hot this week. I think that they kind of finally are starting to see what he could bring. And I think they're going to do a lot of motion with him, maybe some swing passes, get him down the seam some more. I feel like he's going to have a really, really good game, and I'm hoping so because that'll show the Lions that you can't just pin on CeeDee Lamb. You're going to have to really make sure that you lock down the tight end, who's awesome, and then now you got this guy. Did I say Tober? I meant Turpin. Did I say Tober this whole time?
Yeah. Turpin. Okay.
My bad. Yeah, Turpin. But I think it's going to be great. And then one of the storylines I was thinking about is Jay Lou. A lot of people have been talking about him and all the noise that he's been talking and stuff like that, and how he's like in your face, type of guy. And I love that about him. A lot of people do. I'm a little bit interested to see how this week goes. Amon-Ra St. Brown has already mentioned before that he's one of the loudest chirpers on the field. On top of that, they got a pretty good receiving core over there, so I'm interested to see how he bounces back. Last thing, not bounces back, but how he responds to all the noise that's been talked about this week.
Right.
Last thing that I'll drop, which is just I feel it in my gut. I don't even really know why. I think Aubrey's breaking the record this week, man.
Oh, wow.
And that's all I got to say, baby. All right, y'all have a good day.
All right. That would have to be a 67-yarder to break the record. The record for longest field goal is 66. And if that's the record he's talking about, it seems like every week there's something else with Aubrey. As for Jordan Lewis, what a storyline he is. He's a Detroit native. He loves playing against the Lions. And he did a lot of talking in the last game, and to the point where St. Brown was saying, "I don't even know who this guy is." Like, yeah, you do. You know corners. You know who he is. But apparently there was a lot of talk there. And and the Steelers tried to do that too. They tried to punk him a little bit. Pickens did that. You ain't gonna mess with Jordan Lewis like that. I'm anxious to see how the whole cornerback position plays this week. It's going to be a challenge for sure, especially with them having to load up to really stop the run. Those guys are going to be on islands. See what Deron Bland does. He's supposed to play, supposed to return, so it'll be good to have him back there as well. Let's get one more caller before the end of the show. Champ in Nebraska.
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Finally got in today.
All right.
Hey, so real quick, my hot and cold, somebody might have just took it. Jordan Lewis.
Hot.
Man, has that guy come along for hot. The injury he had that almost ended his career, the way he played last year was great, and he's turning into something super special, super locked down. Like, that guy is a dog. Yeah. He's great. And as far as cold, I'm going with the coach, McCarthy. So going back to the game the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to call in. I was not as upbeat with the win as I feel like I should have been. I'm glad we won. That's always the main thing. Get that win. But I felt like McCarthy's decision-making, whether it be calling timeouts at the wrong point, challenging calls that he should not be challenging, he's going to cost us, and ultimately it's going to cost him because he's got that one-year contract. So he's making the team kind of hot and cold as a whole. And I came away from the conclusion Sunday night that this season is going to be stressful. I should probably call my doctor and ask for blood pressure medication now because it's not going to be easy. We're going to be in games every single week that could go either way. And with that being said, in case I can't get in tomorrow, I'm going to go with the prediction of 33-30 with the Brandon Aubrey field goal.
All right.
To win it.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Nick, you and Chris be blessed,
All
brother.
right. Thank you. Well, I say it every show at least once, and I'll say it again this time. I love this opportunity for you guys to call in and throw out your opinions, because that's what they are, and you guys aren't wrong. Your opinion is undefeated, always has been. That being said, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with saying that your head coach is in the cold section for this game, for these last few games. Your job as a coach is to get your team ready to play. Deal with whatever the cards are dealt. You've got to play them. You've got to go out there and play them. So you may not like everything that he does. I don't either. I disagree with some of the things, but I know this, that when you're dealing with that many injuries, especially on one side of the ball, you're dealing every day. Last week it was Micah's out here and Tank's on IR, and now Brandon Cook's on IR, and I mean, then get to the game. Marshawn Nealon gets hurt right off the jump, and you lose Zach Martin for a little bit. Guyton's out. You're shuffling things around, and you go out and you win the game. You've won 2 games in a row on the road. You figured it out. It's not pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It's not supposed to be. But I mean, you got to give the head coach credit for that, or somebody should. Who gets the credit for having your team ready to play? So I totally disagree with that. I mean, game management. Say what you want, but, you know, they scored a touchdown with 20 seconds to go in the game. So whether they called timeout here or didn't do it here or whatever, he was right because they scored. They gave no time for Pittsburgh. They took all the clock down, and they went and scored. When it works, it works. So I have a hard time saying that this game with McCarthy. I mean, I think somebody's holding it together, and it usually starts with the head coach. Great show, guys. Thanks for jumping on board with the hot and cold. We'll do that every Thursday. Hot and cold Thursdays, presented by Yeti. Who's hot, who's cold? Because Yeti keeps them both hot and cold. Whatever you want to put in here, they've got you covered. Yeti is the drink. Let's see, what is it? The cooler of choice for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Even. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboy Storyline. See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,